Hello! Today I want to talk about the top 5 things that you never learn about tuning when you first get a guitar until you've been very frustrated. Okay, rule number 1, you want to tune up to a note from a low note. If you don't have any experience with guitar, take the string and loosen it a lot. Okay, the string's nice and loose. You can tell that's got to be too low, right? I'm even making it lower. Alright, then we turn on our tuner. And we keep striking the string and start to turn the peg tighter so the string gets higher. And we wait a moment and see what shows up on our tuner. In this case, we have the note F sharp. So we want to go higher. F sharp, then G sharp, then A sharp, B, C sharp, D sharp, and finally to E. Let's get it exact. Okay, so that's rule number 1. You want to tune up to a note. If you're not sure how to play the guitar, you just got a guitar, it's very common to turn the string far too tight and break it, and that's frustrating. So start with the note obviously too low and work your way up to the next one. Okay, the next thing that you almost never learn right away about tuning, but you need to know, is that lots and lots of bands and lots of different kinds of songs you're going to play use half step down tuning, also known as E flat tuning. So you have to change all 6 of your strings to the next lowest note. What does that mean? With the 6th string, we're going to hit the string, we're going to drop it down to D with a checkerboard sign after, which means D sharp. Like so. Now, if you have a guitar tuner that doesn't show you the D with the checkerboard as you make it a little bit lower, it may show you the letter E with a tiny little lowercase b in the upper right corner, which stands for flat. So, we tuned the 6th string to D sharp, otherwise known as E flat, the 5th string to G sharp, otherwise known as A flat, the 4th string to C sharp, otherwise known as D flat, the 3rd string to F sharp, also called G flat, the 2nd string to A sharp, also called B flat, and the 1st string to D sharp, also called E flat. How many bands do this? About 30%. Bands like Guns N' Roses, bands like Kiss, lots of other bands like Weezer and Green Day often but not always tune down a half step. So if you're having a hard time trying to understand why you can't play along with those bands, you may have to tune down a half step. That's number 2. Okay, let's talk about number 3, drop D tuning. Drop D tuning is done all the time. I'm going to make this string down to D. There we go, it's a little better. Okay, the 6th string is tuned down to D, so you have to make it lower than E, but all the rest of the strings stay in standard tuning. So we have D, and then A, and then D again, and then G, and then B, and then E. This way you can play a D chord and with an open 6th string. You can also play bar chords with one finger, cross strings 6, 5, and 4. Fun things like that, and lots of bands use drop D tuning. I don't know what the percentage is, it's not as high as 30%, but a lot of bands do. So if you're trying to play one of their songs and you're in standard tuning, you may have a hard time with that. What's next? Well, within the same category, part 3, which is drop D tuning, there's something similar to drop D tuning called drop C sharp tuning. That means we drop the 6th string down to C sharp. It's the next lowest note from where we were in D. We take it down a semitone to C with a little checkerboard after it, C sharp. And all the other strings get tuned to E flat tuning. So you've got C sharp on the 6th string, and then you have G sharp, C sharp again, F sharp, A sharp, and then we're also going to have C sharp again on the 1st string. Actually, no, that's not true. The first string in that case is going to stay with an E flat note. So it would be C sharp on this, on the 6th string, and then E flat on the 1st string. Okay, number 4, open tunings. Another thing you don't learn often. You go to play songs from bands that use open tunings, maybe an old Rolling Stones song, and it just won't sound right, and that's because they use open tunings. A couple of common open tunings, the 2 most popular are G and E. I'm going to tell you what they are now. G, we tune the 6th string to D, like it is now, and then we tune the A string down to G. The 4th string stays where it is at D. The 3rd string stays where it is at G. The 2nd string stays where it is at B. And the 1st string we tune all the way down to D. That's an open G tuning that will allow the guitar to simply be strummed, and you'll be able to play a G chord just by strumming it without even touching any of the frets. And that will make some interesting tunings and fun ways to play lots of songs, like I said, from bands like the Rolling Stones. One more open tuning is open E. You're going to keep the E string down to E, will stay E, the 6th string will stay E. The 5th string is B. The 4th string is E. The 6th string is, the 3rd string is G sharp instead of G. The 2nd string is B, and the 1st string is E. So what do we change? The 6th string stays the same, but the 5th string gets tuned up a whole step to B. The 4th string gets tuned up a whole step to E. And then the 3rd string gets tuned up a half step to G sharp. And then we have B and E respectively. Okay, that's the 4th thing. Here's number 5. Here's the 5th thing that they never tell you. Sometimes you go to play the guitar along with a band and none of these tunings seem to apply. Doesn't seem to matter what you do, you can't play in tune with them. Especially a band like AC/DC with their first singer Bon Scott. Seems like all of those songs are out of tune, so to speak. What do I mean? Well, they're in tune with themselves, but they're not in tune with standard tunings that I've talked about. So what do you have to do? Well, with a song like, say, TNT from AC/DC, when the song starts, it starts with an E note and it quickly goes to A. Well, you'll have to listen to that E and tune it by ear. It's a little bit flat, but it's not quite E flat. Something like this. Well, actually, this was down to D. Alright, so this is E. So AC/DC with their first singer, something like this. Right about there. Okay? So don't panic if you go to play along with the song and you don't sound right. It's very likely it's the tuning. That's the top 5 things they never tell you.